So I happened across a witchy hashtag and by Lennon Smith, and she did a hashtag as AVR to another creator known as Astral Lady. So I figure, with uploading being the issue I have, I'm just going to combine both of the hashtags into one video. So the crap, I didn't write down the hashtags, but I'll put them in the title. I should have wrote them down and I didn't. And I will put both of their channels in the description box so that you can see the questions, because I don't have my other phone with internet, so I have to write everything down. And let's see. This is going to be fun because I set my glasses somewhere else. I don't know. So, blind me. Anyway, we're going to do the first hashtag. I believe it was Why Spirituality. And the other one I don't remember what it is. But anyway, we're going to do the hashtags. So, question number 1. This is from the Why Spirituality hashtag, and there's 5 questions to this and 13 to the other one. So, question number 1: How are you raised? Well, my mother, I guess you would consider her to be an atheist. My dad came from a Christian family that was somewhat devout. They weren't like this mega Christian extreme. Sorry about that, Christian extremist type of thing, but they were considered Christian. He didn't really go on about Christianity too much because I guess maybe my mom was atheist. We did go to church sometimes. I think my grandfather was more the one when it came to religious teaching within the home. When he was come over. So I guess between Christianity and atheism. Although when I went to the blind school and then to a public school, I was exposed to a lot more different religions, because people of different religions went to the school, and you learned about all different forms. Because the school I went to was kind of a school. The public school I went to was kind of more for like the more affluent. It was a suburb, so you learned more about all types of different religions and diversity and things like that. So I learned some stuff about all religions. Question number 2: What makes you want to what makes you want a spiritual practice? Honestly, I'm going to get in some big trouble for this, but I really am finding a lot of hypocrisy within Christianity, more so now than ever. I have really become in tune to some of the lies and misconceptions that they tell about other religions in order to fearmonger people into going to church. I guess you could say that there's a bit more acceptance within paganism and spirituality, and people wanting to grow and to learn from each other, unlike with Christianity. I had some, I guess you would say, some religious trauma. I had an outing, and I was trying to go home before church, and the house parent didn't appreciate that and tried to scare me into going into church. Not only that, wouldn't let me take my stuff and lock the door so that my dad and I had to attend a church service. There was another blind lady that lived in my town, and they told her they were going and doing prayers and things, and the lady said, "Oh, well, why don't you pray to get your sight back?" And she's like, "Well, I am the way God made me. Why?" Well, then they told her as she left the pantry she couldn't come back until she got her sight. And then when I was involved in church, the youth pastor saw, showed some stuff on Wicca, and being a former practicing Wiccan, it was really about how Wicca is going to lead you down to worshiping Satan and drugs and all of this. And so when I moved to a bigger town, I went back to my practice. I had initially started in witchcraft because a friend I went to public school with, had started up a metaphysical shop. So that's kind of my answer to number 2. Number 3, what myth drives you? What myth drives your practice? What I'm assuming she means from this is, sorry, gotta keep stuff from Louie. Well, I work currently with Santissima Muerte, Hecate, and Danu. And those 3 have the triple goddess aspect to them, or the triple aspect to them. Well, actually 2 do. There's not really one with Santa Muerte, but I have to say, though, I do tend to lean more towards the ancestral, more the Celtic type of, and that's more like an ancestral thing. Although I've been learning a lot about the Norse pantheon, I am of Norse ancestry. I don't really necessarily think there's like a particular mythology that I work with. I try to learn something about all of them, just because to me, to be knowledgeable, you're going to be a more well-rounded witch if you do that. Number 4, what is it you do with your own spiritual practice? I'm focusing more on shadow work currently and healing, because, well, I just moved and I still have all of my stuff except for pendulums and tarot cards in storage currently. So there's not, I know that you are your tool, but like my herbs and things that to me are where, that help me focus and help me do what I need to do. Those things aren't here, so until I can get those things, but I kind of take it as a sign of working on my health, like with my shadow work and going to the gym and working out. Not that you can tell. And I have surgery in the next few months, so I'm just taking it as a sign that I need to do that. Although I do still do cleansing baths, and I will still smoke cleanse the apartment. But I guess that's really about it on that one. Number 5. What keeps you on the path? Growth, healing, the utter hypocrisy that I've been seeing, and the hatred. If you saw some of the videos that I've done, I've seen just the negativity within some, I guess you could say, high demand religions, and I don't like it. Although I am a bit disappointed with the fact that there are some things within spirituality and paganism that I kind of have an issue with. Like, I would never have thought that ableism existed in the community, or homophobia, or transphobia, or people determining who should and should be allowed in the community. Um, those are things I kind of have a problem with. I kind of have a problem with people can't accept facts. They really have an issue with facts when you present them with facts. And I guess finding facts and finding truth is something like when it comes to studying what has happened to people within the spiritual community, witches, tarot readers, palmistry, all that type of stuff. Uh, people within it, what's happened to them and how they've been treated and how they have lived throughout history. Um, I did also want to say I didn't think racism existed in the community, but I guess it does. Anyway, so it's just the knowing, because the knowing, I guess, and perfecting and learning more about my own self-empowerment and more about myself and how to help others, how to educate others, how to be more accepting. Although if I see somebody doing something based off of misinformation or something potentially harmful, I will kind of speak up and say something. But anyway, that's the first hashtag. Okay, hashtag number 2. So, of course, I have to keep going over here because the light's a lot better. Anyway, what was your first encounter with the word witch? I've always been into like those old occult, like the old kind of scary horror movies, kind of dark. If you're from Indiana, you know something about Sammy Terry. The fantasy like movies like the Dark Crystal and like Willow and Dragon Slayer and that type of stuff had always sort of appealed to me. So, the fairy tale aspect of things. So, those things just, I don't know, I was always drawn to those types of things. Oh, the Neverending Story and Labyrinth. Those types of things. Unicorns. Just, it all always, I don't know, I was always attracted to those types of things. And then when I got into high school, I started sort of looking more into the occult. And then after I graduated, I found that friend that owned the metaphysical shop. So, I guess that's that. What was your first witchcraft path? I started out in Wicca. I did that for a few years. To me, it's a good discipline. It's a good starting point as far as like learning discipline and focus. I do still implement some aspects of Wicca into my practice. But number 3, what was your first magical working? I'd have to say, and God, I'm 50 years old, and you're wanting me to think back way far, so I guess I would have to say the first magical working that I remember doing was casting my first circle and cleansing the area with my broom. Those are the first 2 that come to mind. What is most important to you in your craft? Research, history. Currently, it's shadow work. injustice, learning about all the injustice that's happened to people within the spiritual community. Question number 6. What is your favorite witchy hobby activity? Research, history, learning, and studying. I do tarot. I do pendulum work. Um, I can do wax reading and some scrying, pyromancy. Um, but I have not actually been really doing a lot practice wise. So, going to get back into meditation and things so that, I can just sort of get everything back. So, question number 7. What is your favorite witchy animal? Well, Lady Blind Wolf. Ravens and crows, more so crows, because there's just always seems to be crows around me. Um, I have. I don't really think the wolf and the crow probably are my two, uh, probably my two favorites. Um, I mean, I like cats. You guys have seen Aiden. I don't know. I'm just an animal lover anyway. So now these pages are taking it upon themselves to not want to turn. Okay. So, number 8. What is your most memorable magical working? Well, aside from erectile dysfunction spells, I'd have to say a banishing that I did concerning a neighbor that was causing us a lot of problems. Granted, my roommate helped with that one. We did some things with intention and witch assault, and then 2 weeks later she packed up and moved. That was probably my most memorable. Number 9. What is the most unpopular magical opinion? Witch's pyramid. Keeping silent while you have spells in progress. Not showing every single aspect of your spell work and every single aspect of what protections that you have. I guess that's a pretty unpopular opinion. Number 10. In your opinion, what color is magic? Purple. Because that's the color of spirit. Although, depending on what spell work you're doing, but I'd have to say between purple and black. 11. What is the hardest lesson your in your witchcraft your witchcraft has taught you? I wouldn't necessarily say keeping your mouth shut when you're working on a spell, and when you're doing a working for someone. You have to use discernment on what people want you to do workings for them and whether or not they're going to follow directions and keep their mouth shut. When they want you to cast, do a working, and then they go to the person that they want you to do a working against, and they go, oh yeah, well, I want to, I think that's probably the most important lesson that I learned. Number 12. What is your witchcraft main? I guess your main purpose. I can't see it here. Growth. Empowerment with myself, teaching others about what our history is, whether you're a witch, whether you're in the spiritual community, what our history is. And number 13, what is one big goal for your witchcraft? Shadow work. Shadow work. Shadow work and history. Those are probably currently like my biggest goals, is to get through my shadow work, because I like to go and take the Reiki classes at some point. And then if I can't fix myself, I can't exactly be expected to fix others. Working with intuition, and my abilities. Apparently I have abilities I didn't know I had, and working on developing those abilities. So, sorry about the lighting, and I keep forgetting to put my glasses on when I'm having to read this stuff. Anyway, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and peace, love, and light.